Hmm. Today is the 10th. I have no idea what's going on. How is it February 10th? What you guys doing? Messing with the clock and the calendar and stuff. Get right to it. So again, sorry for the distraction, but I got the sense on Thursday that a decent, well, not maybe a majority, but a ton of you don't really need any more time to get ready for the quiz. So if you do, let me know after this and I'll give you a hint. I promise I'll help you. All right. So these, you remember how like 3 by 3 row reduction, each one takes like 12 minutes or 15 minutes. These should take about two. They go really, really fast. So first thing we're going to do, just like we would normally do with the big 3 by 3 row reduction, is we're going to gut the problem. We're going to take all the X's and equal signs and or all the variables and equal signs out. So we're going to make a matrix out of it. So we're going to have -3, 14, and then we'll augment on this little 2 by 1 matrix. And our goals remain the same. So like the fact that we've done 3 by 3 row reduction means that this isn't even really anything new. It's just, I knew that if this came up on a district assessment, we'd be like, whoa, what, we've never done this. So that's what this little sidetrack is for. So what's our first goal? Yeah, turn the -4 into a 0. So remember this is our worker bee. It's not so important to keep track of your worker bee with a 2 by 2 because there's just no fear here at all. But that's going to be our worker bee, and our goal is to turn this guy into a 0. And so what row operation are we going to use to do that?
It's 4 times -3.
Yeah, and I like to get my negative out of the way first, so I am just going to do -4 first. So I'm going to do -4 R1s plus 3 R2s. Yep, there's no R3 here, so we don't have to worry about that. It's just row 1 and row 2. Super easy. And so as always is the case, you're welcome to copy over the worker row. Mhm. And there's very few calculations. They should not be difficult for us. So the first one I think is obviously going to be 0 because -4 times the top is 12 and 3 times the bottom is -12. So mission accomplished there. So, don't make this assignment any harder than it has to be by doing goofy stuff. So what is -4 times the top? -4 times 14. Perfect. So we get -56. And then the bottom is 3 times row 2. What's 3 times 7? 21. And if we add those two numbers right there together, we get -35. And as always, we're hoping that the number that we get here in this sixth spot is going to be divisible by 35. So you realize like immediately if things are going well or not. So we're going to take the top. What's -18 times -4?
-7.
Did I a positive 72? What happened here? Hold on a second. Oh, that's not a -18. That's a -8. Did I put -18
Yeah.
in the original problem too? Oh gosh, it's going to be one of these days. That's supposed to be a -8. I'm sorry. It must be a Monday. So back to this. I thought I was like, whoa, what happened there? So if we take the top now times -4, what do we get? 32. And then 3 times 1 is 3. And 32 plus 3 is 35. All right, there, like halfway there, right? You all right there, Hugo? Yeah. Okay, good. So what I'm going to do at this point in time is, because I would just rather do it this way, is I'm going to take this entire row right here and I'm going to divide it by 35. Sometimes I would divide by a negative, but in this case, I like that number right here, the one I'm circling. I want it to stay negative so it can offset the one above it. So I'm just going to multiply by regular 35. And if I do that, Then I get top row stays the same. You have to decide if it's worth it to do this, but I believe it is, just to use smaller numbers. It's up to you. But if I take the bottom row now and I divide it by 35, I get 0, -1, and 1. And then we only have one more row operation to do. Our mission now is to turn this 14 into a 0. And how are we going to do that?
Row 3 by 14.
That's it. Good job. So we're going to take 14 row 2s plus unmodified row 1. Not sure this is the most efficient way to do this, but it is in the standards, so we're going to knock it out. So we're going to keep the bottom row the same. So we have 0, -1, 1, and then we're done. Like it takes like 10 more seconds, 15 more seconds from here. I didn't do that. You can't prove that I did that. What is it with me and -18s? What's going on? Maybe that's a sign. I should like buy a lottery ticket and make sure that the number 18. Okay, I will not write it again. I don't know. I can't explain this. Anyways, 14 times the bottom plus the top is -3. 14 times the bottom plus the top is 0. And 14 times the bottom is 14 plus the top is 14 plus -8 is 6. And then we're done. So what X value do we get out of the top row? -2. And what Y value do we get out of the bottom row? And just like that, we know the solution is -2, -1. As advertised, a much simpler process. I had 4 examples. I feel like I'm just going to do one more with you because you don't really need 4 of these, do you? Pretty easy. All right, this time I am not going to write any numbers wrong. That is my pact with myself. And I'm going to select this one. But I'm just going to take the X's and Y's out. Are you guys cool with that? Okay, good. Good answer. So we're going to, in our top row, we're going to have 2, 7. Like, that would have said 2x plus 7y equals -2. And then the bottom row would have said -3x plus 3y equals -24. I selected this example as opposed to the other one just to see if you would take the bait. So anyone thoughts? You can reduce the bottom row. So again, it comes down to a personal choice as to, in a problem this simple, is it worth it to you? I'm just going to do it in this example so that I have it on recording and I can say we did one each way. But like in this case, you could take this bottom row and divide every number down here by 3. And that's just a personal choice, again, if you want to or not. But I'm going to go ahead and do it. So I'm going to leave the top at 2, 7, and -2. And then the bottom, if we divide them all by 3, we get -1, +1, and -8. Not -18 this time, big guy. Got it? And now it's time to do row operations. So what row operation will we do first? Say- I don't think I heard you correctly, but I know you said it well. I just didn't. So did you say double the bottom plus the top? Good. Okay. So we're going to take the bottom is now going to be double the bottom. So 2 times, oh, that's a fat pen. I don't want that one for there. We want 2 times row 2 and then back up times unmodified row 1. And that will get us to where we want to be. So your worker row, remember, is the 2 and the 7 and the -2. And then you just got to do things in the right order. So if you double the bottom, you get -2 plus the top is 0. Stick it in the bottom. Double the bottom plus the top. What's that going to give us? Double the bottom plus the top, 9. And then again, double the bottom is -16 plus the top, -16 plus -2, -18. So if you wanted to at this point, I mean, I just don't feel like it's really that difficult, but what could we do right now? Say again? You could divide by 9. And so let's go ahead and do it. Just make it official. So we're going to leave the top row alone. 2, 7, -2. And then the bottom is going to be, I'm actually going to divide this row by -9, just so I can get that 9 to change into a negative, and then it'll play easier with the one above it. No, you don't have to, but I'm going to. So if we divide by -9, we get 0, -1, and +2. And what's our final row operation? We got to make this into a 0. So what do? 7 R2s plus regular unmodified R1. Good. And that will be it. So the bottom row is the worker row, so it stays the same. And then the top row is the resulting row. So 7 bottoms plus the top. 7 zeros plus 2 is 2. 7, -7, 7, 0. 7 bottoms makes 14. And 14 plus -2 makes 12. So what is our X value? 6. And what's our Y value? Just like that. You don't need a couple more of those for notes, do you? I'll give you more time. So I do have a paper assignment for you. How long should one of those take? I don't know, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. So there shouldn't be a time issue. If you want to put that assignment on the back burner and use the rest of the hour today to work on your practice quiz for tomorrow, that's fine. This is obviously not on the quiz. This is just a quick detour. So the quiz tomorrow is just like the practice quiz that we did Thursday. Just like that.